Okay, so today's dish is a lollipop lamb chop, and we need to do a little bit of pre-work before we get started. I have my lamb chops already pre-cut, and then we're going to add the following seasonings and let it marinate for about 15 minutes. So we have fresh rosemary, garlic, thyme, dried basil, and Worcestershire sauce. And then, of course, we have a little bit of salt and pepper. So we're going to marinate this and then come back afterwards and get started. So we'll take our Worcestershire. And then, let's see, this is thyme. Make sure you get both sides nicely coated with all the seasonings. Thyme, basil, and rosemary. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil in here too. Along with garlic and salt and pepper. Just basic seasonings, but if it sits for a little bit, it's going to be even better. So okay. A little bit of salt. And I'm using dried herbs today. If you like to use the fresh ones, that's fine, but the dried will work just as nicely. Okay. We've got them seasoned nicely, and then cover. You can just set them to the side for, like I said, 15 minutes. Okay. Go. And just cover with saran wrap or foil. And there you have it. Okay, we're here cooking with Sharon, and you've already done step 1 of the lollipop lamb chops with the balsamic glaze. We're going to go and finish everything up. It's pretty simple from here on out. So your lollipop should have been marinating for about 15 minutes. If it's longer than that, that's awesome. More flavor is going to get into them. So we're going to turn on our skillet, and I'm going to use olive oil. Get our skillet really hot, and let's see, I do. We're going to, once it gets hot, we're going to cook our lamb chops, and I selected the lollipop version, or the smaller version of the lamb chop, because this is something that could be served as an appetizer at an event. Very, very cute presentation we could put together. Or you can have multiple lamb chops on a plate with some side items. That could be your entree. And a person doesn't have to fight with a big piece of lamb. So that's the reason why we're doing these today, so I can show you some options. All right, so our skillet should be getting hot. And then with lamb, you don't want to cook it, overcook it, rather. So you can, on each side, each one will probably take about, because they're small too, about 3 to, we'll say 5 minutes, because, some people don't like their lamb pink. but it should be well done. Not pink, but you don't want it overcooked either. And we want some color on each side of it. So this is a big one, so it's going to probably take a little bit longer. Turn down our skillet, our heat. Okay. Like I said, we'll cook on each side for we'll start off with 4 minutes, I guess, about 4 minutes. Let's see. But if you use fresh herbs, you should be smelling that right now, actually. It smells amazing. Um, all right, and then, let's see. So you should have a nice brown color when we're searing it. I think before you all have, I've done lamb before, lamb chops, lollipops, and we have different types of sauces or versions to this. The other one you can find online is pesto mint sauce. And that's what a lot of people use with lamb chops or lollipop lamb chops. And that was a fresh homemade sauce. So check it out if you haven't. I'm sure you'll love that too. And it was so easy. Homemade, fresh. You could smell all the fresh herbs that we were using as we were preparing it. Okay, we're going to flip these. They should be getting a little brown. I would probably want a little bit more color on it. You can see on a couple of them. Oh yeah, that one looks really good. Okay, so as you see here, the brownness, that's what it should look like. And again, if you don't have a thermometer, the internal temperature of lamb should be, well, if we want it well done, we'll just go ahead and do, if you have a thermometer, 150, 45, 145, 150. Again, you don't want to overcook it, but we'll let that finish up. And we'll put this on this side. Hopefully I can add in these. And then, if you haven't already done so, you should have prepared scallions. So I did one big whole scallion minced, and then we have butter right here, and we also have Worcestershire sauce. All right. So we'll let it cook a little bit longer. Make sure that they're nice and tender and done. Just remember, I'm adding these because I know exactly what. Just remember your placement of each one. So with the lamb, if you have regular lamb shoulder or the bigger lamb chop, you can actually prepare it the same way as far as the flavor profile and the way that we're searing it. You can use you can do it that way. And then those are the bigger pieces as well. So maybe for, I don't know, a holiday dinner, you can prepare those. Okay, it's looking pretty good. And remember here, if you haven't already done it, we have about a cup of chicken broth. A cup. Okay. Looking pretty good. Looking great, actually. I don't know if, as a kid, I never ate lamb. Actually, I didn't really experiment or try it out until I was an adult and actually in this industry. We just didn't grow up on lamb, but I have one of my best girlfriends, her son, oh my God, he loves lamb chops. It's so funny to see him holding a little lamb chop in his hand. And yeah, as a five, I think even at 5, he was eating lamb chops. I'm like, unbelievable. But it goes to show you that if you expose kids at a young age to different things, you never know what their palate is going to like. We just can't feed them chicken nuggets and pizza and burgers. Give them something different to try, and you will be pleasantly surprised. I don't know if you all know, but I mean, we cater to a school, 5 schools every day. So I'm always surprised when I hear from the teachers and the administration at the school that a lot of times the kids will eat things that we send them, but they won't eat it at home. Go figure. I mean, and that's a great opportunity for kids to try something different too, is at school. And this particular school, the director is adamant about having something different, making sure that her kids are exposed, all the kids there are exposed to something different. Like I said, outside of pizza, chicken nuggets. I mean, granted, we serve the kids that, but they get other things like quinoa, cauliflower rice, pesto, probably some things that I know when I was a kid, I wasn't eating. And it's only because, I mean, you know, kids eat what they want at home. And parents, I understand it's hard sometimes. But that's why these schools nowadays need to have great school lunches, and that will get them exposed to healthy alternatives to for your kids to enjoy. Okay, I think some of these are done. I'm just going to take them and place them on our plate and keep them warm. Okay, these are looking good. We'll let that big one stay in just a little bit longer because it was thick. I don't know what I was doing when I was cutting it. Okay. 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 I'm just trying to plate it so our glaze can go right on top once we finish. Okay. I think these are looking pretty good. And then again, if you want to just double check your temperature, like this one, I'm sure is going to be, it looks done. And we're going to keep all that, the seasoning flavor all in here. We're going to use that when we're making our glaze. Okay. All right, so we'll put this off to the side. We want to keep it warm, so I'm going to cover it. And then we're going to add in our shallots right here. All right, along with a little bit of butter. And we'll go ahead and add in our I'm gonna check. There's a couple bigger pieces from our lamb. Okay. We're gonna take our balsamic vinegar and add it in. Once these cook down, with the shallots, it doesn't take that long to cook them down. Okay. Add this in, and it'll take a minute to, we're just gonna keep cooking it and reducing it down. So your heat should be on medium high, so it's bubbling. Ooh, smells good. And this will reduce down. And we're going to add in our chicken stock. You see it's thickening up a little bit. Make sure you're using either a wooden spoon, or I'm using something that's not going to scrape my skillet. All right, add that in and bring it back up to a boil. It may take a moment. But we'll let that boil and simmer up while we clean up a little. I wish I had someone to talk to. But that is one of the disadvantages of cooking here by yourself, really. I mean, I'm not really by myself, but I kind of am. Because sometimes, I get great feedback. Other times I don't. But, it's all good. It's all part of what I do behind the camera. And the other person behind the camera too. So I'll give him a shout out. He does a great job from time to time. He has to put up with me from time to time, but it's all good. So as your balsamic is reduced or boiling, it's going to eventually reduce down somewhat. Just keep stirring it, and we'll let it sit there. Now your lamb chops should, oh yeah, they smell great. They smell amazing. So again, these are something, like you see how I have them, well, I could plate them a little bit better, but how they could be a past hors d'oeuvre for an event, because they're so small. Actually, we could have cut them just a little bit smaller if we wanted to make, if we were going that route as far as like an appetizer, we could do that. And there would be something nice and different to eat. Okay. It's thickening up. It's taking a minute, but it'll get there. Okay. Just let it keep cooking and simmering, and maybe in about, I would say 15 minutes, it should be reduced down. So we're going to see you back in about 15 minutes once your sauce has reduced down. Okay, so your sauce should look like this kind of. And we're going to take the rest of our butter that we have here and add it. And then your sauce is ready to go. So if it hasn't reduced down, make sure you cook it just a little bit longer. All right, we added the butter. It's about a tablespoon. And then we're going to finish up our lamb with the sauce. And we'll be ready to serve. Okay. And you can just glaze it on top. You can toss it in it if you like. You can put it on the side and dip it, but I think it's best if it's served on top. Okay. Now, wasn't that pretty easy? And it's something different. So, I hope you will enjoy these. Until the next time, we'll see you at Cooking with Sharon.